Good.
It's over 9,000! It's time!
Hey YouTube, Rob here, Team Force Judgment. I'm just going to be giving you guys one of my over 9,000 OTK decks. I call this deck Maximum Capacity because I run the maximum amount of cards for my main deck and side and fusion. Okay, so starting with the main deck, I run 3 Magical Merchants. That's the main card of the deck. He pretty much sets off all the combos, and he's the only reason that a lot of the cards in here work. I run 1 Gokapon. When this is destroyed by battle, I get to add a Magical Merchant to my hand. A Sangan for searching, 2 Quick Draws for consistency, 3 Raikos, they help to mill, 2 Hamsters because I run the 3 Raikos, and I run 1 Sniffus. You then run 3 Blackwing Values, the Emblem of Honor, and 3 Sirokkos. Now a lot of people don't understand that, but the combo is this. I mill them with Magical Merchant, and then I synchron my graveyard for a Armor Master or an Armed Wing. Then I have 1 Spore, 1 Glow Up Bulb, 2 Lonefire Blossoms, and 2 Dandelions, because this deck I kind of based it upon a Quick Draw deck. You then have 3 Wolf Lightsworn Beasts. When these are milled to the graveyard, you get to special summon them, so Magical Merchant gets these onto the field real quick. Dimensional Alchemist. This is the second best card in the whole deck, because it's almost guaranteed that you're gonna get a monster off the top of the deck with his effect, and he's almost always going to be a +1 because you're moving a lot of these cards from your graveyard. 1 Gores, because you obviously don't have any backfields, so he's going to be great. 1 Obelisk the Tormentor. A lot of people ask me why I run this as well, but to be honest with you, if I draw this with Magical Merchant, it's an amazing card, because I always mill off at least a Wolf and a Dandelion with Merchant, and then next turn, that means I contribute all 3 of those for an Obelisk, and he doesn't leave the field easy. I then have 1 Chaos Necromancer. It's more of a tech than a main theme of the deck, but it's pretty good because it gains 300 attack points for every monster in my graveyard, and as you can see, there can be a lot of monsters in my graveyard. I then have 1 Zombie Master because there's a lot of zombies in here, 1 Mizuki to get out the zombies that are sent to the graveyard, 1 Plague Spreader, and then I have 3 Skull Servants, probably the oldest card in the whole deck actually, and I use it with 3 King of the Skull Servants. This guy gains 1,000 attack for every Skull Servant in the graveyard, so already one of them can have a max of 5,000. You have 3 Lady in Whites. She's 2200 defense, so she's got a big fat ass and she's not going to let anyone hurt me, and she also counts as Skull Servant in the graveyard. So that means that King of the Skull Servants gets powered up even more. White Mare. This guy is pretty much useless unless one of my Skull Servants gets DD Crowed, or King of the Skulls, because his effect is kind of redundant, except for that. He's really used to mill, because he also counts as Skull Servant in the graveyard, and hence powers up my King of the Skull Servants, which is the over 9,000 win condition, because he gets to up to like 9,000 very easily. I then have 1 Level Eater in the deck, because it's good to mill, and I have lots of high-level monsters. 2 Caius, adds consistency. 1 Light and Darkness Dragon. Like I said, I have lots of tokens and stuff floating around in this deck. 1 Necrogardna, it's a good millable card, and can save you in a pinch. 1 Tragodia. I also tend to have big hand advantage, since most of these cards are pretty useless in my hand, but if I have a Tragodia, then I can drop Tragodia, and then I can use these monsters that are useless in my hand to take control of monsters my opponent controls. 1 Dasher, because if I mill him to the graveyard, and then draw a monster, which I most likely will, I can just special summon it right off the bat. For the 4 spells, I run 2 Pot of Avarice, 1 Cold Wave, and 1 Giant Trunade. The point of the deck is to mill cards off the top of the deck until you get to one of these with Merchant's effect. Then once you get one of these to your hand, you pretty much win the duel. You then have 2 MSTs for side deck. This is side deck now. My side deck is pretty much my protection. So I run 2 MSTs in my side deck because you have to be playing them somehow. 1 Solemn Judgment, because it can really save you. 2 Dust Tornadoes, because it takes out Necro Valley and face downs against GBs. 2 Wild Tornado, because Necro Valley is just the murderer of this deck, because I can't do anything. 2 My Body is a Shield, it stops the Nobleman of Crossouts, and it can secure my plays. 2 Breaker, the Magical Warrior, like I said, Necro Valley is terrible against me. Well, it's really good against me, that's why. So I need Breaker to destroy that. 1 Rainbow, when he's discarded from my hand to the graveyard, hence with Royal Tribute, or by X-Sabers, I get to special summon him and destroy all cards in their spell card zone or in their monster card, spell and trap card zone or monster card zone. So I can drop him, destroy the Necro Valley and some face downs, and then have a 2500 beat stick out, so they pretty much just minus big time for activating Necro Valley. I then have 3 DD Crow, because Crow is a monster, so it's not going to stop Merchant from milling off a lot of cards, and it's also very good to side deck against a lot of decks out there. For the extra deck, you have 2 Formula Synchrons, 1 Stardust, 1 Junk Destroyer, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Armor Master, 2 Armed Wings. I wouldn't play 3, because you're not likely going to get 3 out. I mean, you could instead of one of the other cards, but I wouldn't like it. I mean, I don't like it. 1 Black Rose, you really only need 1. 1 Goya Guardian, 1 Bryanak, 1 Catastor, 1 Armory Arm, 1 Drill Warrior, and 1 Colossal Fighter. Colossal Fighter can be really good too, because he's non-destroyable by Battle Loop. So that's the deck. Hope you guys like it. Ignore these random cards on the side here. That's just because I put Colossal Fighter into my deck. So yeah, that's the deck. Hope you guys like it. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to have lots of other decks coming out soon. So just keep a lookout for those. Alright, thanks guys.